eat sandwiches all the time?
It was tough growing up with a single mom, but those clones had to be destroyed.
That's racism! I'll say the N-word if y'all find out it got bleeped, so help me God, Chris Gethin, I'll burn this whole show down.
Damn it! Yeah, all of you guys know I'm some fine young lad.
Hello, everyone. It's time for another episode of our minisode. This is going to be the longest goddamn episode.
Oh, yeah.
I think of anything that we've ever recorded.
Yeah, this will definitely be up there in terms of length because we have 2 times as many hosts to talk about.
2 times as many, and they are both prolific in their own right.
Yes.
This is the CGP minisode companion podcast where we trash people talk about the artists who are going to be on this week's Chris Gethard Presents. I am Emily Pineapple.
And I'm Forrest, the keeper of the Canon.
And we're going to be talking about Joe Rumrill and Rachel Pegram, who are going to be on episode 7 of CGP, which is going to air August 7th, 2019. It's like, oh my gosh, it's the 7th on the 7th. It's their golden birthday.
Wait, what?
You know how the golden birthday is like
Yeah.
the 6th, it's like 1996 or whatever? Yeah. It's the 7th on August 7th.
August is the 8th month.
But it's August 7th. It's the 7th day of the month. They're having their 7th episode.
Oh, sorry. I just shouldn't have just assumed you miscounted the months. That was really bad.
Yeah. No. I'm correct in all things, and especially this. But yeah, we have 2 hosts to talk about. They're going to be doing chemistry class, which is going to be a bunch of people on blind dates live in the studio. And we know that these hosts, or at least Rachel, has some interest in blind dates previously. Ha 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 ha. Keep listening to find out. I don't know. She was random Andrew's blind date. Spoilers. She was random Andrew's blind date. You can turn off the podcast now. You're done. Thank you. You've done your fan duty.
I'm glad we teased and then immediately explained the tease.
Look, like, this is going to be a long goddamn episode. I want to give people an out. I don't want to make people feel like they have to keep listening. I don't know if I'm going to want to keep listening to us. But that means that we should jump right into it. I'm really excited to talk about these hosts. They've done some really, really cool stuff. And we'll start with Joe Rumrill, because we live in a patriarchal society, and put him first for some reason. There's just an intersection of racism and sexism in the way in which we just automatically put this down, isn't there?
I think his name was first in the ad.
There is just an element of racism and sexism in how the ad was written. Thanks for letting me pawn that off on whoever wrote that ad.
I mean, I think it was probably Bryson.
It's probably Bryson. I'm
he's
sorry,
a very
Bryson.
Nice guy.
I'm sorry, Bryson.
I think it's just. I'm just
making a joke.
I think it's just alphabetical.
Yeah, probably.
Because Joe is before Rachel.
That's fair. But ours were poor. Okay, let's just talk about these people. Let's just talk about these people. We're going to stop making people listen to our shitty jokes and talk about their really good jokes.
I'm glad we can give them the contrast by having our terrible jokes first.
So Joe Rumrill, from his bio, which is on his Omnipop website, which links to his Tumblr, which has a lot of cool stuff on it. And he definitely wrote this. He 100% wrote this. And so I'm going to read the whole thing because it's fucking hilarious, because Joe wrote this.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Rumrill is a fictional one-eyed spinach-loving sailor created in 1929. Wait, no, hold on. Joe Rumrill is a Brooklyn-based stand-up comedian and a writer who performs anywhere you need him. No sewers, please. Not after the last time. His work has been featured in Seriously.tv, Splitsider, and The Village Voice. After graduating with a bachelor's degree in music composition from the Hart School of Music, despite almost getting thrown out for writing a piece that involved interrupting opening night of the school's production of On the Town, Joe moved to New Haven to perform in various punk bands. Frankly, he got really tired of lugging heavy amps to shows. As it turns out, you don't need to lug amps around to act and do stand-up. So now he just does that instead. He moved to New York City and wormed his way into the comedy world and hasn't looked back. With absurdist one-liners and his self-described wholesome lunatic stage persona, he has performed at such hallowed venues as Caroline's, the Bell House, and Union Hall, and opened for luminaries like Janine Garofalo, John Glazer, Chris Gethard,
Ooh.
and Kermit the Frog, kind of. Joe can often be seen playing various characters on the weekly MNN series The Special Without Brett Davis. He's the creator of Fresh Perspectives and a popular weirdo comedy showcase in Williamsburg that has been featured in the Brooklyn Comedy Festival. He co-created Cartoon Monsoon, a monthly uneducational children's variety show bursting with puppets, animation, and costume characters that can be seen at the Annoyance Theater. His talents were utilized as a writer/story producer for the upcoming web series Start Talkin' with Scott Rogowski. In addition to performing nightly on various shows throughout the city, he recently wrote and starred in his first hour-long solo show, Joe Rumrill is Too Scared to be Shot Out of a Cannon. It's not that solo. I watched the whole thing on YouTube. The whole thing's on YouTube, everyone. And he has really fun guests that do things.
I really want to see it. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but it looks really good.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen a lot of the elements of it by watching his other stuff, but it was fun. And he's working on a musical based on the Gremlins movies.
Oh.
Holy shit, that's going to be cool. He hopes to one day, with the right combination of campaigning, crowdsourcing, and luck, be the first person to ever perform stand-up comedy in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
I hope his dream comes true.
Me too. Speaking of, Joe's Christmas list can be provided upon request, and as luck would have it, he's been a very good boy this year. And he really has.
I mean, I would expect nothing less from a wholesome lunatic.
He is quite wholesome.
And then one of his frequent collaborators, as he even really mentions in his bio, is Brett Davis of The Special Without Brett Davis.
He's on multiple of Brett's podcasts.
And just a lot of episodes of The Special.
Yeah.
He's on 15 episodes of The Special, which we'll get into a little bit more later. But Brett is definitely one of his frequent collaborators.
Yeah. They're totally bros. Comedy bros. And there's a bunch of other people that he's done co-created shows with that we're going to mention as we get to those shows. He was also the guitarist for the band 2 Ton Bug, and their music is hella dope.
It's really good. It's real good.
It's great explosive punk shit.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. And we're going to link to the Bandcamp so you can go witness how amazing 2 Ton Bug is. And that takes us to his previous comedy work. And the first one is the YouTube video, That's Mine, from 2010. Drama unfolds as a businessman on a business lunch has no time for monkey business in this award-winning character study from noted entertainer Joe Rumrill.
Yeah, it's just the earliest thing that we found on his page.
But it's you can... It's something that no one else could have written because it so captures his whole goofy sensibility.
Oh, yeah. It's him, facing probably his computer camera.
Probably.
Being a businessman at a lunch and just realizing that someone took something that's his, and then it's 3 or 4 minutes of him just saying hey, that's mine. No, you took that from me. That's mine. And it's absolutely delightful.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
In 2011, he put out the video Happy Anniversary Star Wars, a brilliant video celebrating Star Wars' 10th anniversary. And as you noted, it's been almost 10 years since this was made, so hopefully he'll make another one.
I also love, no Star Wars movie came out in 2001. Oh, no, wait.
Forrest.
Oh, Attack of the Clones.
Forrest, come on.
So it's the 10th anniversary of Attack of the Clones. No, that was 2002.
Well, it's absolutely great and kind of on brand because all of the things that he says happened in Star Wars, absolutely.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones was 2002, so it's even funnier that it's on a 10-year anniversary of not even, a Star Wars movie. His character is that thoroughly wrong. Yeah.
So it's a lot of great one-liners about how the time that Luke Skywalker and Han Solo were taught the true meaning of love by Yoda. I botched that. I think it's funnier than that.
I mean, no, our delivery and my bungling Star Wars dates, don't let that taint that video for you.
Yeah.
And then also in 2011, he came out with Christmas Classic, which is a moving recitation of a true Christmas classic that all 90s kids will remember, which is that M&M's ad with Santa Claus and them learning of each other's existence. And it's not a spoiler because you very quickly realize what's going on, but the level of commitment is just perfect.
Play it for your kids on Christmas. They're not going to know the difference.
Yes, if you make that one of your family's Christmas tradition, please email us because we want to know what the kids think.
Yes. In 2012, he did a video resume where it's like, it says, if you've been referred to this video, then congratulations. You're considering Joe Rumrill as a prospective employee. And he goes through like various one-liney jokes, essentially, like a bunch of puns of different things that he's been.
It's so good.
It's really funny. We're not like going into specific ones because one, we didn't write them down, and two, oh my God, we have so many things to talk about.
Yeah.
Watch us get to like 30 minutes and we're like, wow, we're done with both of them.
Well, but also with that one, I think the surprise of like what keeps coming is important.
That's true. Very true.
And then in 2015, he released the video Joe Rumrill for the 2015 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, where he announces his campaign to be the first stand-up comedian to perform in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and goes over some of the previous hosts. And honestly, it reminds me of Connor's run for the presidency, which is part of why I love it so much, because it's this like weird level of commitment to this bit.
It's super absurd and wholesome too.
And it plays it totally straight.
Yeah.
There's no winking around. I mean, there's winking because it's obviously funny, but like it's wonderful. But then also that same year, Joe Rumrill released an attack ad on Brad Howe, who he was afraid was going to take his spot as the first comedian to perform in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And he like goes into how he wants Brad to like have to sit there and watch him perform, like sipping on a sad Michelob, I think it was. It's really good. Definitely check those both out.
And then in 2015, there is Cartoon Monsoon, which is a live show hosted by Mary Houlihan and Joe. She co-created it with him. There's like a 5-minute clip of it or whatever on YouTube that I watched, and I'm pulling this one. There are puppets.
I really want to see this.
Forrest, there's puppets.
Yeah, I didn't know that he worked with puppets, but now that I do, I need to see it.
Yeah, so the puppet is Tim Platt, and the music man is Steven DeSena. And the show is like a kid's show, but live. And then after each show, they throw out the script and write a new one for next time. That's from the YouTube video. Super cute songs. It is a lot like... A lot of his stuff feels like the kind of kids show that you would see on PBS with like cardboard props and puppets and like over enthusiastic people. But he's just the way that he does it is so delightful.
I mean, I think as is the case of many Chris Gethard Show fans, that is my aesthetic. So I'm really excited to see it. So he appeared a lot on the special without Brett Davis. We're not going to go too into detail on the episodes because there's 15 episodes that he was on.
And we have seen none of them.
Also that.
Have you seen any of them? I've seen none of them.
No. I've seen parts of a lot of them, but not them in their entirety. So he appeared as a bunch of different characters, and we're going to group them by those characters. In 2015, on the episode Freshy Freddy, he appeared as Raindrop. And that episode was about the hippie bro, Freshy Freddy, who joins a cult and doesn't realize it. And Connor O'Malley, aka the Beast Masturbator, was on that episode as a character named David! ! So shouting was necessary. I probably peaked right there. He was also on as Joe, the Chris Gethard Show episode, which was where Christy Cello played Shannon O'Neill. He was on Get Your Bits in Order, again as Joe, which was the hit BBC humor show Get Your Bits in Order finally hits the shores of the US, but the transition is a bit rocky.
Was that your attempt at a British accent?
Yeah, it was bad.
I was just checking. It
was. And as you can tell, I sort of backed out of it halfway through. And so I think, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay.
He was on as Frankie Faith on the episode See You Later.
Oh, that's what that is.
which was about the reunion of the boy band See You Later.
There's an 8 in it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was like Cul-ater.
No, it's See You Later.
Yeah.
It's like together.
Okay.
The MTV one. And then Lorelai Ramirez, who played Preston on Coochie Creek, was also on that episode as a character named Iggy Ikea, which is like a perfect name.
Oh my gosh.
And then as his character Chigger Skunts, who seems to be one of his main ones from the special, he was on the episode Vic and the Moose, which was a televised version of an edgy radio show. Anna Fabrega was also on that episode. Rumspringa, which was about 2 Amish teens on Rumspringa visiting the city for the first time and meeting Gilbert Gottfried, who was actually played by himself. And then Skunts Line Is It Anyway, where Skunts TV is stopped short when the Chunk and Chigger's beloved pool noodle goes missing. Joe also wrote that episode. And then episode 100, he is on once again as Chigger. And that episode also had Carmen Christopher, Anna Fabrega, Joe Firestone, Papa Chris Gethard, Lorelai Ramirez, and Ike, who was the meat pitchman on CGP episode 1, who really, I thought, killed it on that episode. And then as Mr. Me, he was on the episode Thwub Chubba Lumpus, which Joe wrote. And I am not surprised anymore that he would write an episode called Thwub Chubba Lumpus. And Anna Fabrega and Lorelai Ramirez were both on that episode as well. And then Joe was on the Halloween special as the character Sweeper.
Oh, wait. As Mr. Me, a former indie rocker turns children.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't really explain that episode. Mr. Me is a former indie rocker who became a children's television host who invited Craig Evan Halen and Sarah Schaefer on to his show, Thwub Chumbawumpus. Thwub Chumbawumpus. This isn't Chumbawamba. But his negativity takes a toll. And then as Sweeper, he was on the Halloween special, which is hosted by Count Dracula, who presents 3 Tales of Terror. And Carmen Christopher is on that episode as Joey Tribbiani from Friends. Joe Firestone was on as Joe Fearstone, which is great. And Lorelai Ramirez was on as Witch. And then he was on as the swinging bachelor with a strict 7 p.m. bedtime on the special Presents Joe Rumrill, where he was back way past his bedtime. And he wrote that episode as well. And there's only a few more characters left. There's Dr. Furrowbrow from the episode Goldie Goldberg and Friends, where Joe Firestone played Goldie Goldberg, and Dan Licata, who was the stand-up at the end of Carmen Christopher's episode of CGP, was on that episode as well. He was Jacket Man on Vic Loves the Moose / Funniest Home Videos, where Vic and the Moose welcome the controversial comedian Roy Poppins. And then, once again, the Swingin' Bachelor with a strict 7:30 p.m. bedtime was on New Characters 2018, which was also where Martin Urbano played Pablo Chalupa. And then, actually, there's one more. He also was on the episode Late Mike from 2018, but couldn't find any details. I couldn't hear his character name. I watched it, but I couldn't make out what his character name was, but it was very funny. So this is what I saw. So check all of those many episodes out, and thank you for your patience.
Oh my gosh. Just applause for you getting through that super long list. Oh my gosh.
But I wanted to go through it all to really give the sense of just how much he contributed to the special.
Yeah.
Because he was a huge part of it.
Yeah. He appeared in 2016 on the Chris Gethard 2016 election special, which has disappeared from the internet.
Yeah, I watched it live, but you can't find it anymore on the internet.
He was also a writer for The Hard Times, which is it's like a parody of the Rolling Stones.
Or Rolling Stone magazine, or the Rolling Stones?
Sorry, the Rolling Stone magazine. Rolling Stone magazine. With titles such as Street Musician Could Really Use Street Sound Guy. Confused Crowd Searches for Thrown Stick That Is Actually Behind Drummer's Back. Punk Toddler Doesn't Give a Fuck, You've Got Her Nose. Indie Goat Thinks Vinyl Tastes Better. True location of secret show, inside heart all along.
Oh, yeah. I love that one.
Yeah, I read some of these out loud to
Yeah.
Forrest as we were like driving around. Quite entertaining. A lot of his stuff is written. I don't know, like that's the thing is like he's been on all of these things, but if you go onto his Tumblr, it is just like scrolls and scrolls of really, really funny writing.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had this whole thing on his Tumblr. It's letters to a spooky scarecrow. Some stuff he's adapted, like his poems that we're going to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
But like just look up his Tumblr. It's really great reading for when you'd otherwise just be on Reddit. TBH.
And then there's the YouTube video, Joe Rumrill at Throne Watches clip, which was filmed in 2017. And he does some really fun character work. And there's a joke about how he wants to call out the teens who were hassling him before the show because he's finally thought of the perfect comeback. And it's, you hurt my feelings. And it's just so perfect. He delivers it better than I did, but check it out because it's just loaded with his blend of sweet sincerity and absurdism.
Yeah, it's like absurdism on top of like being a little kid.
Yeah. I mean, it's why his, what was it, the wholesome lunatic self-description is really, it really does perfectly encapsulate his whole
thing.
His whole vibe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Joe Rumrill is scared to be shot out of a cannon. 2017. It's in like 5 or 6 parts on YouTube. It featured Nick Naney, Eliza Hurwitz, Wes Haney, Tywin DeLong, Eddie Modica, and was written by Joe and directed by Joe Firestone and shot by Keaton Monger. It's a lot of it is an amalgamation of a lot of the other things that he's done in his other clips, like adapting it for a really cool like overview of all the stuff he's done. He has like this thing, Police Pals, based on the idea that there's only one police person in all of New York City. You wouldn't guess it, but there is. And he does a national anthem bit.
Oh, the national anthem bit's really funny.
He sings the national anthem, but is like one beat off because he holds the O too long at the beginning, and it's freaking beautifully executed.
Oh, yeah.
He does some short poems. He interacts with puppets, and it's all held together by this wonderful, like, absurdist thing of the idea that he needs to be shot out of a cannon at the end, and he's afraid of that.
Oh, okay. So it's like him stalling to try not to get shot out of the cannon, or
yeah, and everyone being like, oh, but at the end of the show you're going to be shot out of the cannon. And he's like, I don't want to be shot out of this cannon. So in that way, it was a lot like The Trial.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then in 2018, Police Pals was posted as a short YouTube video where Sheriff Joe Rumrill and Deputy Eliza Hurwitz, who are, as mentioned, New York's only cops, get some troubling news from their primary care physician, Nathan Min. And it was from Police Pals live at Union Hall. And it's really funny. All the various maladies that they are afflicted with are great non sequiturs that I love.
Oh, yeah. Including pregnant seahorses.
Yes, pregnant seahorses are a real problem.
Yeah. Really
Joe wrote that.
Yeah.
And it was produced and shot by Phil Meister. And it's really good. It's real good.
Everything's real good, friends.
I mean,
watch them all.
Surprise, Gethard has great taste in comedians and who get to host CGP. Who knew Papa Geth knew comedy?
This next one like really blew me away.
Yeah.
Joe Rumrill and the Rumrells at a Macaulay Culkin show. It's him doing comedy with a backing band. Like they like play this stuff and he rocks out like he's the lead singer, and then they like stop and he tells jokes.
Yeah. And they keep trying to put a cape on him. Like he's James Brown doing his whole like singing super hard and then getting tired out, and they try to get the cape on. It looks like he's going to take it. And then he throws it off because he's re-energized.
Where did you get this quote? Sweet little bits of wordplay with a thread of morbid. It's in quotes in our notes.
It might be from the video.
Might be from the
I
video.
didn't label where that's from.
Might be from the video. But yeah, the show was hosted by Brett Davis.
I think it's from the video. I think it's a quote from the video.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And then after that, there was Cornholios, which is a direct cinema documentary film about 3 devoted cornholio enthusiasts struggling in New York. Joe was one of the writers on the short and starred in it. I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
But cornholio is a Beavis and Butthead reference where they would put
get it.
their shirt, like their face in the collar of their shirt and put their hands up and just go, Cornholio. And that's, I'm Cornholio, I need TP for my bunghole, was the catchphrase. It's like, it's really funny if you like grew up on watching Beavis and Butthead and then seeing like adult, I presume it's great seeing like adult men do that like character and taking it seriously as like their passion in life would be my guess. But I really want to check it out if we can find it later.
Yeah. And then there's Joe Rumrill's Little Poems in 2019, which is like a video version of these fun little poems that he writes. They're like great little limericks. It was directed by Alex Winfrey. And yeah, they're funny with overtones of the morbid, again, childlike and hilarious.
Yeah.
One asks, who's missing from the Friends of like that show, The Friends? And it's Jesus.
Of course.
It's always Jesus.
Of course he is.
He does a version of that in the Joe Rumrill is Afraid to Be Shot Out of a Cannon.
Oh, cool.
About the Sunday funnies.
Oh.
Yeah. And how they brighten his day.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that one.
Yeah. And then he's on episode 6 and 7 of the Chris Gethard Presents podcast, the real version of this podcast that people should listen to.
Yeah, we don't have a robot. They do.
We have no robots. We have a cat.
We do have a cat.
Yeah.
But the cat has caused far more production problems than Justin Bot ever has.
That's true. We're making pretty good time. We're making pretty good time on this. I think that we're not going to go like too long.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're booking it.
We're booking
these.
it. We're booking it. We're booking it. It's time for Rachel Pegram.
Woo!
Rachel Pegram, they are partners in comedy and in love.
Yes.
And there's a lot less of her stuff online.
Yeah.
But she has also done, I think, a lot more of the things on her YouTube and stuff are more like polished, like they're for college humor.
Yeah.
And above average. And
even the NYU comedy group she was in did really polished stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it seems like a lot of her stuff is live, and so it's just not quite as accessible for us all the way over here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
But what is there is gold.
Oh gosh, it's such gold. Here is her bio from rachelpegram.com. Rachel Pegram is a Brooklyn-based comedian, actor, and writer. Rachel was born and raised in Denton, Texas, and moved to New York to attend NYU Tisch. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Tisch?
Yeah, it's Tisch.
Tisch, where she received a BFA in drama. On screen, Rachel can be seen in the Adam Sandler Netflix movie The Week of Alongside Chris Rock and Rachel Dratch. The
Week of is the movie.
Oh, okay.
And then Chris Rock and Rachel Dratch are in that movie.
Watch The Week of. It's an Adam Sandler movie on Netflix. She's also appeared in the movie Don't Think Twice, and in the television show she's been on The Chris Gethard Show, Full Frontal with Samantha Bee, The Late Show, Alternatino, MTV, BET, Comedy Central, and more.
Wow.
Yeah. She was chosen in 2019 as one of the Just for Laughs New Faces characters. In 2018, she performed at Clusterfest, as one of Comedy Central's Up Next variety comedians. Rachel performs regularly at Union Hall, both as a writer and performer with the sketch group Lo-Fi NYC, and as co-host of That Shit Ray, a monthly late-night-esque variety show. She's also a regular performer on the Ass Cat at UCB Hell's Kitchen.
And then, as mentioned, the rest of the cast of Lo-Fi NYC are some of her frequent collaborators. It's a monthly show in New York, which describes itself as The basement comedy show of your dreams. This fast-paced spectacle combines a classic 70s variety show format with the most freewheeling underground comedians New York City has to offer. Featuring sketch, stand-up, musical guests, and sledgehammer giveaways, it's like the Muppet Show with fewer puppets and more destruction of property.
Before seeing Joe Rumrill's things,
Yeah.
I thought that meant like, oh, that's funny, there's no puppets. But now I think there's like at least 1 or 2 puppets, right? Like
I
there's
wouldn't be
fewer
surprised.
puppets, but there are puppets.
That's a good point. Yeah, they didn't say, and there's no puppets.
Yeah.
The cast and writers of Lo-Fi NYC are Kevin Bauer, Sage Boggs, Karen Chi, Matt DeCaro, Io Edibiri, Noah Gebstadt, Taylor Gonzalez, Jenny Gustafson, Rachel Jarofsky, Aaron Nemo, Rachel Pegram,
Woo.
David Ruffalidis, Blythe Roberson, and Bob Vulfov.
Wolfov. Reading all these names makes me just think of how weird names are.
I mean, my name's Forrest.
Names are just like silly. I don't know.
Speaking of silly names, she's also a regular performer on AssCat 3000 at UCB Hell's Kitchen. And Shannon O'Neill and Connor Ratliff are part of the regular cast of AssCat 3000. And we need to see AssCat 3000 whenever we go to New York.
Is it an improv show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
That's
an
really
improv
cool.
show at UCB.
She was also part of Hammercats
Yes.
NYC, which is a sketch group of people whose videos we've seen a lot of. They're like an NYU.
Yeah, they were
thing.
an NYU group. We talk more about them in their videos when they come up as part of her previous work, but all those
yeah,
videos
they're
are
pretty-
super good.
Yeah, they're like a prestigious group. So she's very polished. I don't know.
I think
Like
she
she deserves it. She does amazing things. Yeah, and so her previous work, the earliest we could find of her online was The Chris Gethard Show.
Woo!
Public access. She was on episode 22, Random Andrew in the Hero's Journey, as a caller who asks out Random Andrew on a blind date.
Yeah, I was so excited when I realized that was her. I immediately messaged Judge Robin and Emily that was the case because that's just so cool.
I know, and now she's doing this blind date thing. I think that like I love when you can see in the Chris Gethard Presents like episodes that people do,
Yeah.
like themes that they've clearly like carried through the rest of their work.
Yeah, I agree.
It's really fun because then you're like, oh, those variations, and then they make it into something new. It's just really cool.
And that blind date was uploaded to YouTube as an independent YouTube video, but it's also part of the first sandwich night.
Yeah.
So it's monumental that's part of the very first sandwich night, everyone's favorite annual tradition.
Yeah. She was on the Blindfold Show. She just sits next to the panel and announces who's on the phones.
Because they're all blindfolded and can't see the prompter.
Mm-hmm.
She called so this next one's I think she called in. There's Shy Rachel from Texas, which is where she's from, who calls in at 52:30 in the video. And I found online that she was on that episode. I think on IMDb it lists her on that episode. But they never say that it's her. I don't remember them saying that it's her. And there's another Rachel who calls in who's not from Texas. And so I was like, that doesn't sound like her. And then I get to Shy Rachel and I'm like, oh, okay.
Detective Forrest, keeper of the canon.
I think I'm right. If I'm wrong, email us so we can correct it. And then
if he's right, email to congratulate him.
oh, sure. Also do that. Yeah. I would like the praise. And then the Vacation Jason wiki also says she was a member of the crew on TCGS on the episodes Monologues Only, which was episode 26, and 100 Callers, which was episode 27. They don't say what her role on the crew was, but I love the idea that she went from caller to crew member, caller to cast to crew to CGP.
I mean, she was definitely a friend of everyone on the show.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, she called in to help out her friends who were doing this weird public access show.
Totally.
She very well may have been in the hallway of the show, calling in on her cell phone. Do you think? Would that work?
Didn't Chris at one point say there was one call on TCGS that they faked?
There's a lot of calls
No,
that they faked.
they said there's one call.
Well, I mean, not faked, but like it's his friends who are
No,
calling
yeah.
in to do silly things.
No, but there's one that they planned out.
Really?
I think he said that somewhere. What if it's this one? What if we just
What did
solved
she
the mystery?
say?
No, the
What did
blind
she
date.
say? Oh, the blind date
What if the
one?
blind date was like...
That's fair.
I think that'd be great. That's not a critique, but I think he said somewhere there was one call that was like a planned out thing.
Just so that they don't like either invite everyone to have a blind date with Random Andrew and no one calls in, or someone calls in and they're a total creep.
Well, they didn't even invite it. I think she just said it.
Oh.
Like, I don't think they didn't.
Oh my God.
I don't think they prompted her for it. As I remember when I watched that episode last, she just brings it up and they just immediately seize on it as like, yes, we have to do this.
Well, I mean, yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wouldn't it be even though, like, they know her and they knew it was her calling, but they didn't know that she was going to propose a blind date?
That would also be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. I wonder if she was dating Joe at that point.
Oh.
It was 2011,
Oh.
which is many years ago.
Yeah. I have no way of knowing that.
Random Gene,
Oh.
we need your help. We need your help, Random Gene. This is a job only you can figure out. In 2013, her video Intervention with Hammercats NYU is online. Hammercats is New York University's premier sketch comedy group, so I could have just read further down in the notes and known the answer to my earlier question.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so we've established that I'm a dumbass. Founded in 2002, Hammercats performs an all-new free monthly shows at NYU's campus. They also perform at venues in New York City, such as the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater and the People's Improv Theater, as well as comedy festivals around the country. It's really, really funny. It's friends and family hold an intervention for Rachel's character, Stephanie, that's like supposed to be about drinking, but it's really just about a bunch of other behaviors that annoy them.
And her portrayal of Stephanie is really funny.
Yeah. Yeah. At first you're like, wow, she's not really a big part of this sketch.
Yeah.
And then she is the punchline and it's amazing.
Yeah. And then also with Hammercats NYU, and I think it's appropriate I'm the one talking about this one. It's tampon commercial presented by men. And so it's you can't see this, but Emily Pineapple just like who's standing just bent over laughing, thinking of this commercial.
Favorite thing ever.
It's really funny. So she wrote it alongside 7 other people, and it's a tampon commercial, as if
Men wrote
written
it.
by men, and how little we know about tampons.
Well, featuring things like how I need something dependable to help scoop up the bloody eggs that fall out of my vagina.
Yeah, I'm sorry
every
that
month.
I'm sorry you have to deal with that. I didn't know.
Reinsert
that
them into my
eggs,
body.
I didn't know that happened, so
Yeah.
I'm sorry that
They're
to
like
all women,
Fabergé eggs.
I'm sorry you have to deal with that with Fabergé eggs.
They're huge. I need something dependable.
Wow.
Yes.
It's really funny though.
Sorry.
It's a great video. Check it out. It was shot by Corey Freeman Lott, and the voiceover was Molly Rabinowitz.
That's a great last name, right?
It's a great last name.
That's in BoJack Horseman.
The rabbit.
Yeah, the rabbit is someone Rabinowitz. Ah, so funny. Hostages, a 2015 short, also by Hammercats. 3 actresses are taken hostage. 3 student actresses, and they just want to give their best performance for the hostage calls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, when I watched this, it starts out and it's like, this is
Dark.
is this like a drama thing they did? And then it just you see the turn and it's like, oh, okay, no, this is great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was reading, so I've been listening to, for a future episode, The Last Victim.
Oh, for the
For the book club. Yeah. So everyone listen to that
Yes.
or read it. It's on Audible. So, obviously it's like a crimey, like serial killery sort of deal. And as I was listening to the earlier like serial killery parts, I was just like giggling thinking of this sketch. I was like, oh man, I hope she gives her best performance. So, yeah.
in 2016, Rachel was in Don't Think Twice, the Mike Birbiglia movie, which is, of course, starring Papa Gethard. But she was in it.
Starring Papa Gethard.
I mean, that's how I've always described it. I was like, hey, have you seen the new Chris Gethard movie, Don't Think Twice?
I like how she appeared in this film as audience Sarah, and then the rest of your notes, it's all about like Gethard and the other Gethard people that are in this Gethard movie.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
Is it on Netflix?
It definitely was for a while. I don't know if it still is. Let's see.
Well, it's very sweet. It's about improv. And she has a small role in it. But Geth
It is still on Netflix.
Ooh. Yeah, a lot of the CGP like cast. Like Connor's in it. Hallie is in it.
Gillian Jacobs, who was on,
Joe Firestone.
Joe Firestone.
The goat woman herself.
Uh,
who worked a lot with Joe Rumrill.
Yeah.
Directed like multiple of his things because she's apparently also a badass director.
And then Sunita Mani of the Cocoon Central Dance Team was also in it.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with her.
Who is very funny.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with her. Something that we didn't talk about in Joe Rumrill's thing because he literally has 2 lines. It's the snow.
Oh yeah,
I watched this. I watched like half of it.
The snowy bing bongs across the North Combat Zone.
North Star Combat Zone.
North Star, yeah.
It is beautiful comedy art house nonsense that needs to be celebrated and given multiple Oscars immediately.
I watched the trailer and that was also amazing.
It's like part in black and white, part just like these weird like speculative like dance things that are really, really funny. Like I did ballet as a child. I was forced to watch a lot of ballet and it was boring as shit. And I was like, wow, dance is boring. There is no value to dance beyond like if you want to move your body and like feel sadness. But no, all of the absurdist comedy. All right, let's get back to the person we're talking about.
Okay.
This fucking city. 2016, famous stand-ups Rachel Jorovsky and Rachel Pegram present a 2-minute clip of their HBO classic special, NYC, This Fucking City.
Rachel Jorovsky also co-created That Shit Ray and co-hosts it with Rachel Pegram.
So they're clearly comedy buddies.
Yeah, this is them working together on Lo-Fi NYC because it's a clip from the first episode of that, but they also do That Shit Ray.
Rachel and Rachel. Maybe that's the other Rachel that called on that episode.
That would be amazing.
Right? Could be. Could be.
The clip is really good. It's really funny. It does like a brilliant job of capturing stand-up in that late 80s boom era where it's all very catchphrase laden.
Take my wife.
Yeah.
No, really, take her.
Yeah, it's. I mean, this is TV show, not stand-up.
Is that earlier?
That's earlier. That's like Borscht Belt, like 50s, 60s.
Oh, punchline is, that's gay.
It's like, cut it out, which was Full House, but like, you know, it's that whole thing of, you have the one line that every joke returns to as the
Here's
thing.
your sign.
Yeah, there you go. That's actually, here's your sign is like, that's totally that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then also in 2016 is an amazing video that I truly love called When You Find Out Your Boyfriend is Short. It was a Comedy Central original created with Above Average, which is owned by Broadway Video, which is Lorne Michaels' company. And it's just amazing.
She plays Brittany, a friend of Brandy, Chrissy Shackelford, the woman who discovers that she is dating a short man. And it's a terrible discovery to have to make.
It sounds very difficult.
It's very difficult. It's very sad. I've undergone this. I've previously dated someone who I discovered was short, and I was so put off by the subterfuge.
I'm so sorry.
It was terrible. But yeah, it's definitely worth a huge watch. It plays with gender in a wonderful way.
And also, one of the other people in the short is one of the Three Busy Debras.
Yeah.
Mitra Juhari, who is one of the Three Busy Debras with Alyssa, is in it as one of the friends counseling the person who is in that terrible situation.
Mm-hmm. In 2016, also created by College Humor for Girls Who Code, is the problem with programmers. We live in San Francisco. There are many problems with programmers, but one of them is that they want to make a robot who is also their mom.
Yep. Yeah, they want to reinvent the mom.
Yep.
Uber for moms. It's really good. It's
very cute.
It's very cute.
Short, adorable. She does wonderful in it, of course.
And then in 2018, another thing she did wonderful on was the Chris Gethard show on True TV, where she played Rachel Rachel played Sandra. The fourth wall confused me there. She played Sandra in the True TV episode Escape the Cage, which is the one where Gethard was locked up in a chain link fence and had to complete challenges for the Hintmaster, or else he'd get human hair dumped on him.
Just like a ton of human hair.
A ton of human hair that was like gathered from various barbershops and stuff.
Gross. That's one of the grossest things on that show.
It's very gross.
That and the milkshake of death.
Yeah, no, those are the two, I think. Yeah. Well,
there's
also the like waiting pool that he's talked about a few times that he did at a live show, where I think he put like milk in it and like other gross things. It was like, yeah. She played a fan who was very out of her depth when she had to explain how she got to the studio that night.
That's where the quote at the top of this episode where she is screaming about racism and that she will burn this show to the ground. That comes from this clip. Oh my God. I think it's my favorite thing. It's like $2 on Google to buy it. Like, and it's worth all of those $2 to even just watch her part.
And I remember watching that episode live before I knew who she was and being just like, who is this person? This character is amazing. And so when I put two and two together, it was just mind blowing.
Yes. She was on Up Next, Making Table Friends in 2018, which is a Comedy Central miniseries where comedians, including Lorelai Ramirez, were given the chance to do short sketches. Well, yeah, of course.
But, and also to clarify, Up Next was the miniseries. Her specific sketch was Making Table Friends.
Oh. Well, that's pretty cool.
Which makes sense because she's a waitress who really wants to be BFFs with the people at her table that she's waiting on. And it's great. It is like really perfect cringe comedy. Mm-hmm. Because she's just so earnest.
Yeah.
Like,
That's where you can really see how she and Joe like complement each other.
Yeah.
In a lot of like her personal characters, and even in the character that she plays on TCGS for True TV, there's like a huge element of like innocence and earnestness.
They both have a wholesome character that they play with a lot.
Yeah. It's not hard to hire women and people of color, 2018, Full Frontal with Samantha Bee. That's not just a statement I'm making. That's a statement that Samantha Bee made. And in only 3 hours, they were able to hire 10 people of color to do the whitest thing they could think of, a Jerry Seinfeld impression. And so she is one of those people, and she says, "What's the deal with the internet?" Yeah.
And then also in 2018, she was in The Week Of, which we mentioned earlier. And she played the character Morgan in this Adam Sandler and Chris Rock movie. It tells the story of a devoted middle-class father, Adam Sandler, who's determined to pay for his daughter's wedding despite the prodding of the wealthier father of the groom, Chris Rock. They just have to get along. They're an odd couple. Two odd fellows mixed together in calamities and hijinks. I haven't seen it. That's why I'm being very vague.
And now there's the song that's been in my head for the past week.
Oh, me too.
Black People Contain Multitudes. I think that this was at that show that she does, the night-esque show, variety show.
Oh, the Lo-Fi NYC?
Lo-Fi, yeah. I think it might have been at that. It's at Union Hall on Brooklyn on September 28th. Oh, sorry. No, that's a show that she's going to be doing. Okay, well, Black People Contain Multitudes is a whole song where she scats, and then she talks about the things that Black people experience together, racism, and just some things about herself and embarrassing things, like how she likes Doctor Who and was influenced by Neil Patrick Harris, which after she said that, I was like, oh, I see it.
Yeah.
And she has a really freaking good
Her voice was so good.
Oh my God. She went to school for musical theater. She went to school for theater, obviously. And everyone thought that she was going to go into musical theater. And no one knew that she was like into comedy, her family and stuff. This is all learned from the CGP actual podcast.
Yes. That
she was on, and that if you want to know things about her, you should listen to.
I mean, also just listen anyway, because it's so a really funny episode, and there's some fun role plays on it that I like that seems to be a recurring thing now on the show. Mm-hmm. And then in 2019, as we mentioned, she was one of the New Faces characters for the Just for Laughs 2019.
I wonder which character she did.
I don't know.
She's a lot of good ones. I like Sandra.
I like Sandra a lot.
She's very non-specific. Sandra, the one from the TCGS episode, she's just very like nervous. Like she's overwhelmed because it's her first time on television, but then also she's like really angry. And she's has an upcoming show. Lo-Fi will be at Union Hall in Brooklyn on August 24th and September 28th.
Because it's a monthly show.
So for people
the next ones
in New York.
Yeah.
Do not make a bootleg recording on your phone and then send it to us.
No.
I'm asking you to not do that, and also to not, if you do that, give them some money to offset the karmic awfulness of doing that. Those are not two things that I'm asking for. I'm also definitely not asking for someone who like has actual like access to equipment and knowledge of recording venues to ask them if the whole thing can be recorded and then like sold for $5 or $10 a pop. I'm not asking for that. I'm totally asking for that.
I would love if
that would be really cool.
The latter one happened and they got to release. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm not a late night person. I'm not good at staying up late.
No.
Like after 10 o'clock, like my brain turns off.
Yeah.
So I don't even get to see a lot of comedy here in San Francisco.
No. It really, really helps us that we live on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So for us, CGP is on at 8.
Yeah.
Instead of 11. Because otherwise you'd be pretty out of it live.
Oh, yeah. I would just be like, ugh. It would be awful. It would be amazing because I would get to see all this fun comedy.
Yeah.
But I would then be really grumpy.
You also might have to watch it again the next day to be like,
oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
right.
Remember
I forgot
anything.
Stuff. Because that's happened to me when I'm tired at comedy shows.
Yeah. All the time. I'm like, it was really funny. They had this one joke.
Yeah.
You know, like the joke that they had. Cool. We got through 2 hosts and we're only at 52 minutes, mostly because we have ignored another vast portion of the things that we could have found on them. Joe Rumrill, at least. Yeah. Joe Rumrill has so many goddamn things online. He also does this show. Okay, so I don't even know what this is. It's called Future Forms, a monthly comedy event hosted by Julio Torres, Mary Houlihan, and Joe Rumrill, and Sam Taggart. And it's at Thrones Watches in Brooklyn. Thrones Watches is the name of the venue, isn't it? That makes sense.
I don't...
Okay, we'll go to their website because it's really, really cool looking. It is so cool looking. It's like this horizon with a sun and like a neon like pink thing. And then there's lines coming out over this like fractured green grid like you're in the Matrix. But then these like balls of pink are coming at you. And it reminds me, this is Julio Torres. Like this has Julio Torres all the fuck over it. But holy shit, it's cool, and I've literally kept it up in my background just to look at that like it's a screensaver. It's so cool.
It is really cool.
It's so cool. And you can click, yes, please, when is the next one? But because we don't live in New York, there's really no point to me doing that.
We can't really go.
No. But you can sign up for the newsletter for tickets for Chris Gethard Presents. Did you see that in the Facebook group? Fake fan?
Yeah.
Forest Keeper of the Canon?
I mean, yeah, I saw it.
Did you sign up? No, because you're a fake fan.
You don't live in New. I mean, I should sign up.
No, but there's also extras, they said.
Are they not? Okay, so it's okay. I'll sign up.
So I assume there's jokes or something. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna be
I'm on the
there.
Chris Gethard Show mailing list. I'm living in the past still.
But yeah, I'm hella excited to see Love blossom this week on April 7th. August 7th.
We had a whole thing about it. How
We had
it's
a
the
whole thing about it.
golden birthday.
Well, the 7 is the important part.
That's true. You remembered that part.
Yeah.
And the A.
And the A. That's true. That's very true. August 7th at 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We're going to watch Love happen. We're going to see how blind dates go. Do you think that... Okay, wait. We have to say what we think is going to happen.
Of course, yeah.
What do you think is going to happen, Forrest? We know that it's going to be blind dates, but what do you think is going to happen?
I think there may be characters in the blind date pool, not just real people.
Mm-hmm.
So they may try to see if a fictional character can win someone's undying love.
Mm.
I don't know which fictional characters, but a fictional character.
Mm. I think that it's going to be really, really wholesome dick.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like the most wholesome.
I mean, if there's an episode.
Full frontal male nudity penises.
So full frontal penises.
Yeah, full frontal penises. Not necessarily attached to any bodies of any
just like
specific genders. Free floating penises.
Huh.
With balls.
Oh, so, okay.
With the balls attached.
So a whole free floating unit.
Yeah.
Ah.
Is that the whole unit? Is that how that's described?
I don't know. But I could see it. That sounds very plausible.
Yeah. Yeah. Just super wholesome penises.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think this is finally your week for your prediction to come true.
Finally. Yeah, so thank you all so much for listening. Check out Joe Rumrill and Rachel Pegram this Wednesday.
Yeah, this Wednesday, August 7th, only on MNN.
Only on MNN. At chrisgethlive.com.
chrisgeth.com/live.
chrisgeth.com/live.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm all mixed up today. I'm all mixed up. Well, it'll take some blind dates to unmix me up. So, yay.
Monica and Phoebe. Joey, Rachel, Ross. Could there be anyone missing? Yes, Jesus on his cross.